have been teasing this Switch 2 dock with RGB for quite some time, but I just wanted to get everything right, and the main reason I decided to build this dock is because the official Switch 2 dock is not that great and it is quite expensive. So we're going to be 3D CAD designing our own Switch 2 dock. We're going to have RGB and it will be 3D printed, but we're not actually going to make the electronics itself for the Switch dock function, so the TV out, etc., because another company has actually made one, and you might have seen it in a previous video when we done the Switch 2 accessories. So we're going to take a third-party Switch 2 dock apart because it's got quite a few advantages over the official dock. First of all, it doesn't need a fan because it just doesn't get hot enough. The original Switch 2 dock does have a fan, and it's not to cool the Switch like people thought, it's just to cool the electronics that are built into the dock, so it doesn't need one. And it also charges faster, so it will charge the Switch 2 faster than the official dock can. And of course, what makes it all worthwhile is it's got RGB. So I guess the first thing we need to do is have a look at the design in Fusion 360 so you get a picture of my thought process and what I wanted it to look like. I didn't want it to stick out like a sore thumb and have some crazy design, so I wanted something that kind of represented the style of the Switch 1 stroke Switch 2 dock, just so when people see it they don't say sort of, oh my god, what the hell is that mess? So just sort of blend in with the original docks. Let's jump on Fusion 360 and have a look at the design. Now, as I said, there's nothing too crazy going on here. We've gone for the classic Switch dock design, and there's quite a few different elements going on here. There is some 3D printed parts that we need to do separately, as in for the logo itself, that piece that's going to be lit up with RGB. This is the main shell without the logo in there, and as we look around from the bottom we can see that we've got all the ports on the back, and that's obviously from that dock that we're going to be taking apart, the third party dock. As we go through, we can see the board for the bottom, and this is where the main circuit board for the Switch 2 dock is going to be. So that was just a quick look at what the design is, and it looks okay. It looks pretty decent. If we have a look on this second one, we can actually see that USB-C hole as well, where the USB-C connection is going to go through for the Switch 2. So as you can see, pretty much a basic design, apart from, of course, that RGB. Now, you don't have to have RGB. You could just print that in an accenting colour, maybe white or red, it's up to you. But RGB just gives it a nice touch, and when you see it later on in the video, I'm sure you'll agree that it looks really good. So all the parts that we need 3D printed parts, we need PCBs, and we need to take the other dock apart. So let's jump on over to the top down camera, have a look at everything we need before I go through the build process. Then of course I'll show you how to put it all together. It's actually really easy. So as I said, we are going to be using this third party dock, and we're going to take it apart, take some bits out of it, and we'll have a look at the bits we're going to take out in a moment. But this dock, the Switch 2 dock S3 Max, it's really cheap. You can pick this up for about £17 or $17, and it is pretty much a basic dock. The design isn't for everyone, but the main reason why I was so impressed with this dock is because it works perfect. It's got all the ports we need. The design isn't the best, but it's perfect for stealing the bits out of, and then we can make our own dock. Now, of course, I will put links in the description below for AliExpress and Amazon, etc. But these are just really cheap docks, and they work perfect. So let's go over the parts out of the dock itself. So we've got the main PCB, and this has all the USB ports, HDMI, etc. It's got a ribbon cable which goes to the USB-C port itself, and I believe this will sort of stick upwards. Then we have a plastic button. This is going to be really handy so we can switch the modes. And then of course I've stolen the 4 screws to put 2 in the main circuit board and then 2 in this USB-C board. So that's all the bits you need. I didn't have the footage taking it all apart, but it is super simple. There's just a couple of screws and then stuff on clips. Next up we have a ESP32, thanks to our friends over at JLC. We're going to need this for the RGB, and this is how they come with all the components on, but I do have one here that's all set up, ready to go. We have the RGB strip soldered on, we have 2 wires for 5 volts and ground, because we're going to be stealing power from this dock board, just so we only need that 1 power cable. Now this video is sponsored by JLCPCB, more on them a little bit later. Let's have a look at the 3D printed parts first. So I have just gone for the plain old boring black, but of course you can print it in any colour you like. We have the main shell itself. We have the bottom plate. There's not actually too much involved here. So this is the main shell itself, and that will go on the bottom. And then I don't know where all these little bits come from. Let's just get rid of those quickly. Now for the main section of the logo itself, we did get this resin printed because it looks like glass and the RGB goodness is going to shine through. And then we just got the little inserts in black, so this is what it looks like. It's going to look so cool. But as I said, this video is sponsored by JLCPCB. They will bring your ideas to life in their state-of-the-art facility. Their experts are on hand to help you out. They're very competitive on pricing, and it is super easy to order online, and they always have special offers and coupons. So let's go ahead and order the ESP32s for this Switch 2 dock, because let's face it, we can't make it without RGB. So on the main JLCPCB website, drag and drop those Gerber files across, and I will put them in the description below. They are standard ESP32s though, so just bear that in mind. Once I've loaded up, we can see the PCBs in green. I don't like green. Let's change it to white. That is so much better. As you can see, it will give you the dimensions. Then we can choose the quantity. We can also choose the thickness, so we'll make them a little bit thinner. You can have the PCBs fully assembled if you so wish. And there's one other thing I wanted to show you. If you go to Flex, they now have transparent Flex PCBs, so they're really cool. Now they are a little bit more pricey, so you might want to stick to just the normal PCBs, because for 5 of these PCBs it's only going to cost you $2.10, and the shipping is not much at all if you choose that global standard shipping. Always check out for the coupons, because they have always got tons of coupons, loads of offers. And of course, for more information, check the link in the description below. So thanks again to JLC for sponsoring this video and all the other videos they've sponsored in the past. These projects would not be possible without them. So now we have all the parts we need, we're going to put it together. But there's one thing that I'm not going to show you in this video, and that's how to install WLED and then wiring up those RGB strips. If you want to see a dedicated video on WLED, click up there somewhere and go and check out my WLED setup guide. It will go through everything that you need to know. Right, back to the top-down camera. Let's get this Switch 2 dock put together. So first of all, let's glue those 2 black 3D printed parts into the resin piece. We're just using normal Gorilla super glue here, so we're just going to put a little bit of glue in there because it's really going to hold it tight. We'll put the first piece in there, push it down firmly, that little dot style piece, and as you can see, that will basically glue in place and not go anywhere, and it looks fantastic. Now we do have two options when it comes to lighting up the logo with RGB. Now the one at the top, that is the resin transparent printed one, the one that looks like glass, and the one at the bottom, that is transparent PLA plus. Of course you can't really see through it, but if we get the RGB LEDs we can see that it still lights up the same. Pretty cool, but it's not gonna look as good as it does against the resin printed one. So let's have a quick look at the resin printed one, and as you can see this is going to light up amazingly. So we are going to go ahead and use a resin printed one because I do feel like this is the best option and it's just going to look the best. So we're going to quickly run through this. Get your resin or PLA piece and super glue the LED strips to the top and bottom. Put the two screws in for the main board on the bottom plate and then put that USB-C port in with the two screws. Then put some glue on that main sort of RGB piece and put it in, check it, make sure it works. Then solder the 5 volts and the ground, put a sticky pad on the ESP32, stick it in place and then put all the screws in and you're done. Now it is that simple, but if you need more information, join the Discord, link is in the description. I've gone over this before, but the best part about using a WLED is we can dull it down, we can change the color, it's all done through Wi-Fi, and not only that, it's got loads of built-in patterns and fancy things you can do with it just to make it look so cool. Now as far as a dock goes, it works absolutely perfect, 4K or 1080p. As you can see, I'm playing some Super Mario World here. I am using this dock, you can see it all lit up a nice purpley blue color, and it's working perfect. No issues whatsoever, it just works like a normal dock. So I'm really pleased with the way this turned out, and of course I do need two docks, so my official dock will probably just be in the computer room somewhere, and then this dock with the RGB is going to go in the bedroom. So if I decide I want to play the Switch 2 in bed, I don't have to go carting the dock all over the place. So it's really handy to have a second dock, or if your official dock does break, and there has been quite a few reports of them breaking, you don't have to spend $100. You can just go out and buy one of these third-party docks for 17 bucks, and then you can take it apart. There's not that many parts, as you've seen. It's really easy to put together, and if you're not doing RGB, you don't need to do any soldering at all. That's a great thing about this project. But let me know in the comments below, what did you think about this Switch 2 dock? Is there anything that you would change on it? And don't forget, if you want to build one yourself, you can join the Discord. I'll put a link in the description below so you can join, and I will have a few spares lying around if anyone does need them. So that resin printed logo on the front, I think I've got a couple of those kicking around now, so if you do want one, then just message me on Discord and I'll see if I can hook you up. Again, if you're in the UK and there's any other projects, I do have a little print farm, so we can work something out. If you really want something that I've designed, then I'm sure we can work something out so I can print it and send it across to you. So that about wraps it up for this video. If you enjoy my content, you know what to do by now. Like, subscribe, and then hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. I'm JP, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.